After a couple of hundred comments on my Descenders review helpfully telling me that Downhill Domination exists, here we go with an actual retrospective semi-review. And straight out of the blocks, well done internet strangers. This is a fun game, good recommendation. I can't compare the two games, Descenders and this, and I'm not saying which is better, as although they both take place on two wheels on a downhill descent, it would be like saying Project Cars and Crash Team Racing are the same as they have four wheels and seats. Downhill Domination is 100%, no apologies, an arcade game. You fall over as much as you like, you punch the NPCs, no worries, get on with it. I also didn't play Downhill Domination as it originally came out, as I emulated it with some pretty graphics and a better resolution. The tiniest bit of history for those who have randomly found this video. The game was released in 2003 on the PS2. It was made by Incognito Entertainment. They've since closed after making this game, a few Twisted Metal sequels, and the pretty good Calling All Cars and Warhawk. I read they were based in Salt Lake City, which probably explains why a few of the tracks in the game are called Salt City. That's about it. There is plenty to like in this game, and if I was pushed to rate it, I'd give it a yes out of 10. We are talking about a 15-year-old game, so slightly shitty controls are to be expected and are completely forgivable, as even at the time everything on the PS2 felt like jelly to me. Some of the tracks are really long, like over 5 minutes some were taking me, and given there are at least 24 tracks that I can remember, this is a solid effort for content. There's hardly any repeats either, with locations being like urban, mountainous, volcanic, underground. Good. Very good. Multiple routes down the courses is great. This is really well done. There's like a mixture of cheesy corner cutting and genuinely different areas that give you an edge if you go exploring. I actually utilised them a lot, and most of the time this was completely by accident. Also to like, there's real bike companies and real life unlockable riders. I'm a sucker for a bit of this, and I honestly don't know why. I think maybe it's because of capitalism, I don't know. But this is completely personal as a plus point. What isn't personal, and what we love on the channel here, is couch co-op, and you do have that here with up to 4 players. Very good. I haven't played 4 up on it, and I can only imagine how stupidly hard that would be, as I can hardly see what's going on in single player, but it's wicked that it's there, and it's wicked it's an option. When comparing to Descenders, and I know I said I wasn't going to do that literally 2 minutes ago, one thing that I noticed is that speed is handled very differently between the two games. In this, you are going actual realistic speeds that you do in real life of 30 odd mile an hour, while unrealistically jumping over a volcano, and it still feels like the Fast and the Furious when they hit the NOS button. In Descenders, you're going like 60 plus miles an hour, and you feel like you don't have enough speed. You choose which one you prefer, but to me, I like how it's done in the 2003 game. If I had to pick some holes in the game, and I do, then here we go. What you need to remember before you get your knickers in a twist is, I have already said that I like the game and I would recommend it, so don't feel personally offended if I don't think everything is the same as you. Firstly, and inexcusably, the sound in this game is absolute pony. And I am talking about both the soundtrack and the voice. It seems like they either didn't have the budget or just didn't want to pay for a proper soundtrack, but they've kind of copied without actually plagiarising a lot of the medium-sized artists that were about at the time of the release of the game. For every song I would hear the opening riff and think, well, that's Atari Teenage Riot, you know, that one there, that's Hella Good by No Doubt, that's meant to be Kiss or AC/DC, that's the synth from G-Funk, here's Jet, here's the Strokes, on and on it goes. The characters' voices are fucking mentally bad too. These are either the lads from The Office, or they just sort of put a shout out to their mates on their Nokia 6200s and said, can anyone sort of do an ambiguous British accent? How about, does anyone know a Japanese girl for our copy-paste character? Anyone seen Crocodile Dundee? Just try and do that. We got ourselves an Australian. It's not even funny, it's just total bollocks. Another thing that I wouldn't say that I completely disliked, but was often certainly a feeling I was getting, is that the game is somehow bizarrely unconventional while also remaining formulaic at the same time. If that seems impossible, what I'm kind of getting at is that it's a standout mountain bike game. There's hardly any of these that's ever been released, and even fewer that have been remembered as good like this one. However, all the things within the game seem to have been spiritually borrowed from different games and sports. For example, you're whacking people off with a stick or booting them off their bike, just like Road Rash. The tricks, the way they come up, and the aforementioned soundtrack is like every PS1, PS2 Extreme Sports game. The characters, even with these voices, are just crappy off-brands of those from SSX. You know, the first two in the character select are basically a push bike Moby and Kaori. What should be noted is some of these negatives that I've had with the game are more to do with design rather than gameplay, so they can either be forgiven by muting the volume or just ignoring them. Getting back to the positives, another non-complaint, I surprisingly found this game quite easy. An ongoing joke on this channel is that Matty and myself are not actually any good at games. I played it on normal, I did the full career, and I won every race first try up until something like the 16th track. This also includes the fact that I had to look up a game fact guide from 2004 around the 4th race to look up what the buttons were, and I didn't think to upgrade anything until I already had enough cash to buy the best bikes. If someone who has never played something else from around then, like Tony Hawk's 2 or 3, like now, they are definitely not flying through all the maps. This is more of an observation, as we are spoilt for choice nowadays in both price and content that we get, but in the PS2 days, you normally didn't get all of the meat of the game within 3 hours. Also, it's got cheats, and cheats are fucking quality, mate. So, thank you for the recommendation, everyone. It's nice to play something that is not just rosy nostalgia goggles. This is a good game. Thank you. If there's anything else that we definitely need to play, and is actually also quite good, put it in the comments. We'll see if we get around to it. Thanks a lot.
Perfect.